Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Hey, welcome into another uh hit the wrong button, didn't I? Okay, another the Confident Autistic Live. That's how I run that. You just saw a behind the scenes moment there. Let me get over the right monitor and do this. Okay, fine. We are live. Yes,
Happy
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, everybody. Hey,
And
welcome
the
into
audio is working,
another.
so this is super. So I hope everyone's having a wonderful Thanksgiving. If you're here with us live, welcome. Thank you for taking a time to do this. And it was my pleasure to be your excuse to get away from all the sensory overload. It's not that we want to get away from family necessarily. Some of us do. I learned an interesting fact yesterday, and that fact was um, and I have the wrong. Don't worry about what it says on the screen about the topic. It's going to be about self-regulation. I forgot to update that in the presentation today. I learned an interesting fact yesterday, and that fact is this: that yesterday was Drinksgiving or Blackout Wednesday, I believe it's called. And the concept of that is that you drink so much, you get totally wasted. It's like worse than St. Patrick's Day. And so you can be ready for the holidays so we can deal with the family around us. I hope nobody did that because, drinking it can be very addictive. It can be bad for you and all. And you want to drink fine, but you don't want to overdo it. And I hope everyone's having a great Thanksgiving. And for myself and my wife, we had a wonderful Thanksgiving. We had pizza. We had the 4 Ps. Well, we're working on them. We had pepperoni. I had pepperoni pizza. She had I think a combo pizza. She's gluten free pizza crust, so hers is different. I had Pepsi, and I got pumpkin pie waiting for me and popcorn. I had a medium pizza, and I must be getting old because I ate all of it but one slice. When I was younger, I could get a large pizza, eat the whole thing, and still have room for pumpkin pie and popcorn. So I ate around 2 o'clock this afternoon, and then I it's now about 5 hours later. I'm still stuffed just from that pizza. So I'm hoping to get the pumpkin pie and popcorn tonight. But if not, they're there for me tomorrow. It's coming. So let's get into what we've done this week while we're waiting for any questions you have about any of the videos or anything adult autistic related, autistic adult related. Either way, if you want to say identity first or person first, doesn't matter to me. On Monday, we posted a video, Why Do Autistic Adults Talk to Themselves? And there's really good reasons why some of us on the spectrum do this. And we discussed those and shared that I do that myself at times. I mean, I do joke about it on videos, some of them. I would say, please interact with me and, subscribe and watch the videos because if it wasn't for you, I would be sitting here talking to myself. And frankly, I don't need to do that any more than I already do in my life. So that is what that was about. It was a great video. Good response to it. On Tuesday, we released What Every Autistic Adult Must Read. It was a wonderful book, and it's called Hashtag Unmasking Autism by Dr. Devon Price, PhD. Wonderful book. I got the audio of this book, and it is amazing. And this is a book, and I know I mentioned in the video, but I'm going to share it here. This is a book that if you suspect you're an autistic adult, self-identify as an autistic adult, or have received a late in life diagnosis of being an autistic adult, this is a book you need to read. It's a great primer. It really breaks down a lot of things you need to know as you're entering a new world, a new identity for yourself, and accepting it, and in essence, putting on your autistic identity, your autistic self-awareness. It's a wonderful book. I read the audio, and I liked it so much I went ahead and bought the Kindle version because it's going to be a reference book I'm going to be using a lot in what I do here as the Confident Autistic, including through the coaching program that we'll be launching in 2025. That's a little Thanksgiving Black Friday pre-announcement, so you heard it here first. It's going to be on we're going to be doing coaching next year. It's going to be really a great thing. I'll be telling more about that starting in January. But I'm getting off track here. This is such a great book. It's I think it's about a 9 hour read. So it's not something you're going to sit down and knock out in one afternoon. It's deep. It's very thorough. I just cannot stop talking about this book. It's a wonderful, wonderful book. Uh, when you do read it, I recommend you don't race through it. Read it, take breaks, absorb what's being shared with you. There's accompanying worksheets that come with it, with the Audible. And I imagine that you can get the accompanying worksheets through the Kindle. I've not looked there to see, but I don't know why they wouldn't. And they may be actually included in the text in the hardcover version of the book. Now, when I read the book, it took me about a month to read. And not because I'm a slow reader. Heck, somebody was reading it to me. It because of the fact that I did not race through it. And there are certain parts of the book that when Dr. Price was explaining parts of autism to me, it hit a nerve. It was very personal to me. And I connected with it and forced me to deal with some my autistic traits that I kind of ignored and suppressed. And it caused me to, have to stop reading the book for a few days to kind of just, you know, absorb and accept and integrate into myself what was said. And I'm trying to find the right word, and I can't find it at this moment. It's amazing. You think somebody who worked in broadcast radio, studied radio broadcasting, would be able to find words, but apparently I'm stumped for a word right now. But it's one of those things that I had to come to terms with it. Maybe that's the best way of putting it. But it's a great book. You ought to check out the video. And in the video description, I also did a blog post of it on my website, theconfidentautistic.com. And in both places, I have a link for you to buy that book from Amazon. It's a special link. I am, among other things, an affiliate marketer. So when you do use that link, there's a possibility I may earn a commission from that purchase. And those commissions help support the work that I do on the channel, all the other things I do within and for the autistic adult community, and it's going to be part of our strategy to make the coaching programs affordable, or as affordable as possible that we can, make it accessible for many people as we can within the autistic adult community. So please, whenever you see something I have an affiliate link on, if at all possible, please use that link. That's a great way you can support what I do here and make a difference in other people's lives as well. Now, yesterday I posted a very important video, which is self-regulation for autistic adults. And in this video, we talked about self-regulation, what it is, why we self-regulate, what's the benefits of it, and some examples on how we can self-regulate. So we are very, very excited about that. It was a great video, and it's a great resource that we can have and for us to do what we do and make it through the holidays. And Peekaboo is here. Okay, hi Peekaboo. Sorry you're late. That's okay. Glad you made it after all. And so, yeah, it was a great video. We received some great feedback on that video. I don't have it in front of me right now, but people are enjoying that video like they've enjoyed others. So if you not watched this video, this is a great one to check out. And we're going to be getting to the topic of self-regulation in a few moments. And I'm going to share with you a little bit from that video and talk about how you've been self-regulating, ideas on how you can self-regulate, because I know the holidays can be stressful. They've been stressful for me. So we'll be diving into that in a moment. But before we get to that, let's talk about the video I just put up today, how to manage anxiety with a warmie. Now, warmies are cool. I got a warmie. And I don't have him in the office. I left him in the other room. So he's in the living room right now. But it's a little stuffed animal. He's a little stuffed doggy in my case. It's a golden lab. And the idea of it is I can put him in his electric doghouse, which is a microwave, for about 60 seconds. It warms him up. And then I place it on my body. wherever I'm feeling the pain from anxiety. And that soothes and comforts me and gets rid of that pain or relieves me of that pain. It is amazing item for me. And it has the softest of fur. It has a lavender aroma that emits from it, especially when you warm him up. It can be used. My wife just brought it in for me. Thank you, Kim. Yeah, this is Waggles here, and it can be used for multiple times. I've had him for a little over 7 months, and he's a real great comfort to me. Inside is like beanbag items. You can pet him, and oh, this is so soft. This is some of the softest material they could find. They can make from him, and he's easy to clean. He's wonderful, and he can also be stuck in the refrigerator, which I call his igloo. And you can use him as a cold compress if you need. If you have something you need to put a cold compress on, that is another way you can use them. And this is an item I got off of Amazon, and I love it. And in the video description, as well as the blog post I put on my website, theconfidentautistic.com, um, where I talk about this warming as well, is another one of those Amazon affiliate links. And when you use that link to make a purchase on Amazon, I may earn a commission. And like I said earlier, those commissions help support the work I'm doing for our autistic adult community and within the autistic adult community, and will help me. My goal for it to keep my coaching costs very affordable so I can serve as many autistic adults as possible so no one gets turned away. That is what we are doing these affiliate links for. So that's kind of a rundown of what we've done this week. And we're going to get into the Q&A in a moment. We're going to be talking about self-regulation. A couple of things I like to do. I forgot to add the heading. Man, I did this after I ate today. I was so stuffed and tired. I took a nap. And apparently I did not pay real close attention to my work today. But that's okay. It's Thanksgiving, and we'll forgive it. We're not perfect. This was a rough day for me, mainly because of the fact that I overate. So what I want to talk about in the Q&A is going to be self-regulation and Thanksgiving. In a moment, I'm going to share my Thanksgiving a little bit more with you and how it stressed me. Like to hear any of your Thanksgiving stories. Are you spending it alone? Are you spending it with family? Are you at home hosting? Or you're a guest somewhere? Feel free to drop that into the chat comments, and I'm going to be taking a look at those comments in a moment. Now, before we go on, a couple of things I'd like to mention here. First, um, before we get into them, let's take a look at the numbers for the week. Last week we were 164 subscribers. This week we're 169. So we only went up 5 this week, which the week before we went up 10. That's okay. It's near the holidays, and I've learned something from this. I do reels on the weekend, and most of those are infographic reels, which are kind of fun and they're easier to produce because I'm in a 90-day challenge of doing a video a day. And they're fun to produce, but they're not getting a lot of responses. So we're going to be doing more full-length videos on the weekends to keep the momentum going. Obviously, our goal is 1,000 subscribers to the channel. We're 831 away. And the way that we can grow our channel, and when I say our channel, I mean mine and yours. You're the viewer. You're part of this. If it wasn't for you, like I said, I would be sitting here talking to myself, and I don't need to do that any more than I already do. This is our channel. This is something we're going to build together. The way you can help with that is liking, sharing, commenting on every video that I post, and of course, subscribing to this channel. When you subscribe to the channel, there should be it is lower right hand corner near the M in the word Zoom. There's a little button you can click on where you can subscribe to the channel. And when you do, you want to make sure that you ring the bell. That means click on the little bell notification, and then you will receive a notification when I put a new video up, which most of the time they go up between 2 and 6 p.m. Central Time. And you will receive a notification when I go live, like I am right now. And I do want to say thank you very much for your support, for everyone who has participated in supporting the channel by liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing to the channel. It truly does mean a lot to me. If this is the first time you're watching my channel, I really do appreciate that. I know there's so many choices out there that you could be doing. You took the time to watch what I do. I don't take that lightly. It really does mean a lot to me. And speaking of thankfulness, I would like to take a moment and start off with this before we get into the Q&A. Is this. I would like to tell you that I'm very thankful for each and every one of my 169 subscribers, every single person who's ever commented on a video, every single share, every everyone who's been involved in this and been supportive and encouraging, and all the amazing positive comments we received on videos. I don't get to respond to all of them, but I have read each and every one of them, and they mean so much to me. And I'm very thankful for you on Thanksgiving. That's one of the many things I'm thankful for. In a moment, I'm going to ask you if you could share anything, or if you want to share anything that you're thankful for. And don't feel that you need to suck up and say, I'm thankful for what you do, Chris. I mean, you can if you want, but it's not obligated. You don't have to do that. What I do want to also share on a personal note, I'm very thankful that my wife and I are been together for many, many years. 21 years of marriage, and coming at the January be our 25th anniversary of our first date. Very thankful for that. I mentioned in other videos that she is battling stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. I'm very thankful that her health is doing fine, oh, really good for the first 3+ years of our cancer battle, almost 4. I'm very thankful that we're not into chemo at this time. And I know that's probably on the horizon. And I'm very thankful for at least another holiday season chemo free. Well, not some other medicine, but we know that chemo will be more than likely will be a part of our life in the future. So I'm very thankful for that. And I'm just thankful for all the blessings that I have in my life. And so I just want to share that with you. Now, I know we're on a horrid delay because I'm watching it here and it is delayed. So, what I'm going to do right now is this. I'm going to go look at the comments here, and we will participate, find out what those are going on, and I will interact with them, and we'll talk about self-regulating here in a moment. I'm going to go full screen here, and let me do this so I can see what's going on there. Okay. What I need to explain to you is this. Nothing lasts forever. Okay. And the light that I normally have illuminating the back of me went out today, so the room looks darker than normal. Let me know what you like, if you like that, because maybe the less light in it is better for you. Let me know about that. Now, as we're about to enter chat, there's a few little things I like to say. These are disclaimers. And let me see if I could, let's do this. I hope that's the right button. I'm almost positive it is. Yes, it is. Let's do this. Here we go. I'm going to share the screen and we'll go through this together. And then we will get into the chat here. The information in this video is for informational purposes only. For medical advice or diagnosis or therapy, please consult a professional, such as a counselor, psychiatrist, psychologist, your primary care physician, etc. The advice that may be given in this video is by either Chris or any participant is their own opinion. None of us, unless otherwise stated by a participant, none of us are doctors, psychiatrists, psychologists, or counselors. So, it's just our own personal experience, our own advice. Oh, if you're going to try something new, you want to check for professional. And hashtag define yourself, the confident autistic, aka Chris Mitchell, that'd be me, shall not be held responsible for any damages caused by you following any advice given during this chat. Sounds like I swallowed a lawyer, doesn't it? It does to me. Okay, in the chat, obviously, we have a few little guidelines I'd like to go over. There's no profanity, no political debates, because we stay away from those. Because when you get to politics, you have a good chance of offending 50% of your audience. No hate speech. This is supposed to be a supportive environment, a supportive community. So there's no hate speech in here. We won't tolerate it. I will boot people for that. Be respectful for each other. If you want someone to respect you, you got to respect them and respect each other's opinion. And respecting an opinion does not mean you have to like that opinion. It just means you respect that person's right to that opinion. Now that I went through all of that, let me grab my phone here because it's easier for me to see. And there can be a moment of silence while I read through the comments and respond to them here. And yeah, well, happy Thanksgiving to you as well, Peekaboo. I appreciate that, and happy Thanksgiving to everybody who is watching, celebrating Thanksgiving here in the United States. Let's see. I went to a small Friendsgiving. I like that Friendsgiving because I'm not really that connected to my family. I am to my wife, and I like my in-laws, but my own family, and this seems to run in my family, we don't really get along well. It's kind of a weird dysfunctional thing. So I always say, God gave us family. Thank God we can choose our friends. So I don't normally do a lot of things with my family. It's just my wife and myself this year. It's been that way for many years. My sister-in-law and her family lives in Alabama. I'll just send her a text maybe. Maybe my wife can send her a text wishing her happy Thanksgiving. I haven't done that to anyone today. And my father-in-law lives in California, and we actually she talked to him earlier today. I was in here putting together the presentation for today. So we've done that. But yeah, I'm okay with spending Thanksgiving alone over friends because the family dynamics can be very challenging. What to say, who to say, how I got to interact with the family members, and it's always been stressful for me. As a kid, I would we would spend Thanksgiving either at our home. We grew up in St. Louis, and we would either just my parents and my brother and I, or we would have some friends from Deloge, Missouri, which is south of St. Louis, which probably nobody's ever heard of. It's a small town. Nice people, though. They would come up and we'd have Thanksgiving with them, or we would go to their house, or we would come here to Joplin, which is where I live now. My dad's family was here, and it was always horrible. I hated Thanksgiving. I hated the food. I don't like turkey. It's always just dry, and it just drove me batty and all. And then you get up in the morning. I don't know if this ever happened to you. Get up in the morning, have breakfast, and lunchtime's around 11:30 at school, right? I'm hungry for lunch. Oh, you can't eat anything. You ruin your appetite for lunch for Thanksgiving dinner, and it's like I want to eat now, Mom. It drove me up a wall. It did. So that's been hard. But Friendsgivings can be really fun because you get to hang out with people you really enjoy being with. Now, there's some people who enjoy being with the family. That's great. That's not me. I enjoy being with my friends. You're very fortunate to have a Friendsgiving dinner, Thanksgiving, because most of the time I wanted to do that, but all my friends was committed to their family activities. So that left me two choices: be with my family or be alone. And some years I chose to be with my family, some years I chose to be alone. Now, being alone at Thanksgiving can be very challenging and difficult, depression and all. And this is the time of the year suicides increase between Thanksgiving and Christmas because the holiday season here in the States is so focused in on family and gatherings. And there's some of us who don't do that either um, by choice or not by choice. This is the way things are. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to do this tonight is I remember being younger before I was married, and there were many Thanksgivings I spent alone in the evenings. I mean, I maybe spent some family time with my parents at their house, went back to my apartment all alone, and was very depressed because it seemed like the whole world stopped. And that really got to me. So I wanted to do that for that reason. And I wanted to do that for the reason that I want to do this for the reason of helping self regulate. Because when I went to Thanksgiving dinners and we were spending out of town with family around me for 24 hours a day, away from my normal routines, my normal environment, my toys when I was a kid, whatever, I it was hard, and I had to find a way to kind of regulate myself, which yes, we're getting back to that self-regulating thing, but let me just finish up the comments here. And you went to a small Friendsgiving, just three or four of us. That sounds really cool. Only lasted about 3 hours. Now for me, that's great. Was that too long or too short for you? Because I hang out with people And I prefer to hang out with people like at a restaurant because when I'm done, I can leave, I can go home. I don't like being them in my house, and I don't like going to other people's houses because I feel uncomfortable there, and I'm always looking for a way out. Because after a while of visiting, small talk and all, which I don't like, I'm like, I'm done. So I'm hoping maybe 3 hours is the perfect amount of time. I don't know. Was it enough time for you? But I was so anxious. Social situations made me so dysregulated. But I used self talk like you recommended, and it went away anyway. Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. I do self talk all the time. If I'm not talking out loud to myself when I'm alone, and I'm in a situation, and if I'm not engaged in the conversation, I'm doing self-talk in my mind to think about how can I get out of this conversation, or come up with a routine or something like that to kind of distract myself to help me manage the situation. And there are times when it's a really tough conversation. I will say things to my in my mind, my self-talk, that I would love to say to the person, like, "That's a really fascinating story. Why don't you tell me about that more when I'm not here?" That goes through my mind a lot. Or, and this happens not only on holidays, but it can happen at small talk. People will tell me things, and, and I'm sitting there thinking, why are they telling me this? What makes them think I'm remotely interested in hearing this story? I was in deep thought. I was, in my own little world. Uh, I love buses. And I was visualizing all these great city buses and the different designs of it, and all, and bus schedules, and figuring out, if I had a TV station, how it, I had things going on in my mind that kept me occupied, and internal stimming, I call it. And they want to have a conversation with me, and now how do I respond to it? What do they want me to say? And it's so hard with me with small talk. So yes, self-talk does help me self-regulate when I'm feeling anxious, when I'm in a crowded environment. I wonder if this happened for you, Peekaboo, when you're at this event and people were talking and all, and a lot of conversations, maybe multiple conversations going on. Does self-talk help you regulate yourself doing that? Meaning, are you like myself, um, sensitive to noise? Because I get overwhelmed when there's a lot of noise around me. It could be conversations, it could be the TV, it could be any noise. If it's too loud or too redundant or too long, it just gets to me. It just drives me batty, and all. So I use self talk for that. The other thing I learned as a strategy to kind of regulate myself during a situation that I have to be at and I can't get away from, like, um, if I go to Applebee's, one of my favorite places to eat, I have been in the past, and my wife goes with me, and those places can get crowded and noisy with the music and all these conversations and all, and that usually causes me sensory overload, and I get fatigued, I get disoriented, I get a little irritable. But if my wife and I one-on-one engage in a conversation, that helps distract me from all of that, and that helps me stay self-regulated. So I wonder if you've ever tried that, and if that's something that might help you when you're going through all of this. And let's see, I'm thankful for my friends and family. Yes, I'm thankful for all my friends and family as well. I don't have that many friends, or at least I don't think I do. I have probably over 100 friends on social media, and some of them I've never met. And then I have some friends from my childhood. But at my age, and I think this is true for autistics and autistics, as you get older, your circle of friends do kind of drop off. You have a lot of friends when you're in college, you're all hanging out, all single, hanging out, whatever. Then you get married, and then you spend more time with your spouse. And this, don't get mad at me for this, but for men, our wives don't like us hanging out with our single friends because our single friends are still, dating and wanting to connect with girls or whatever, for relationships, and you're in one, and they get a little bit concerned that you're going to lose interest in them, whatever. So you spend more time with your wife to make her happy. Happy wife, happy life, and all. And so your friends numbers dial down. And I don't feel like I have a lot of friends because of the fact that I think it's part of my autism. I'm very uncomfortable with conversations interacting back and forth. I prefer to be alone, but I do value the friends that I still have. I do stay in touch with them, probably not as much as I should have. Like I said, I've not sent out a happy Thanksgiving text to anybody. I probably should do that. I'm just not wanting to this year. And nobody sent one to me, which is kind of hurtful, to be honest. But that's my own problem. The I just haven't done that this year because of the fact that then I could start a conversation. And then I get into that part where somebody says something to me, how how do they expect me to respond to this? And that drives me batty. It does. And then I'm like, oh man, I'm in a conversation I wish I did not get into. And it's hard on me. Let's see. I'm thankful that you and your wife are here for us. Thank you. Thankful that you're together. Yes, so am I. You know, one of these days, I'm going to have to share the story of how she and I met. It's a wonderful, amazing story of how we met. And I think it's an inspirational story for anyone who has any disability, because obviously I've been autistic all my life. I did not know it at the time I was dating her. But, you know, looking back at some of the things I did and said, you could probably say, oh, yeah, he was on the spectrum. We just didn't know it. And I was also visually impaired. I still am. And in whether it's in the autistic community or the disabled community, a lot of us have fear of rejection when we're trying to seek out a relationship because of our disability. We think that's going to hurt our chances with somebody who is autistic or even somebody else who has a similar disability or is also on the spectrum. And my story of what happened, of how we met, really does disprove that fear and shows you that the the disability that you have is not a curse and a negative factor in finding true love, but it can also be a superpower. And I'm gonna you know what? Let's do that on Valentine's Day. We'll do that around Valentine's Day. That'd be a great time to share that. Let's see. Valentine's Day this year, I'm really good with calendars, okay? You can give me practically any date from 1900 to 2099, and I can tell you what day of the week that is without using a phone or any other device and be accurate what day of the week it was. So it's amazing. So let's see. January 3rd, well, Valentine's Day, let's do that. Valentine's Day is going to be on, let's see, my birthday's a Tuesday. It'll be a Friday. So we'll do this February 13th. I'll share that story on the Confident Autistic Live. I'll make a note of that. Or if my wife is watching, she can text that to me and give that information to me. Let's see. I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for your wife. After about 2 to 3 hours, I hit a wall and was ready to go home. Yeah, I usually hit a wall a lot sooner before 2 to 3 hours. My wall usually comes up within 60 minutes. And I have a friend who comes over, a good friend of mine. I met him through Big Brothers Big Sisters, and I worked with him when he was in school. He graduated from high school 5 years ago. So don't worry, I don't have three letters after my name that are negative. So he comes over once in a while. He loves hanging out with me. He really looked up to me when he was a kid. He loves hanging out with me, and I like him a lot, and I enjoy him coming over. But there's a certain time, and it doesn't matter if it's him or anyone else. It does not matter. Okay, somebody's in my house after a certain amount of time. I've hit a wall. I'm ready to boot them out, and I'm having a self-talk in my head saying, "How do I tell someone it's time for them to go without sounding rude?" Well, look at the time. I got to go to bed, and it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That won't work. So, yeah, I hit that wall too. And for me, it's just like I'm done. Too much conversation. I feel fatigued because I'm masking. I'm trying to figure out how that person wants me to react, so I don't say anything too bizarre or weird or get into a confrontation because I try to avoid those. I don't know. What does hitting a wall look like to you? What does it feel like? Are you just overwhelmed? Do you also think I can't handle this anymore? I'm exhausted. I'm tired of masking. What do you mean when you say you're hitting a wall? If you feel like sharing what that is to what you mean when you say you hit a wall at 2 to 3 hours, feel free to you. And if you don't feel comfortable, that's fine as well. I don't want to make anyone do anything they're not comfortable. And my wife did text me telling me the on February 13th to do that. So I'm going to put it into my calendar a little bit later so I don't forget to do that on February 13th. Let's see. Since there were only three of us, it wasn't overwhelming, not the noise of overwhelm of a big gathering. Yeah, usually the smaller the group, the more manageable the noise is. I know that's true for me, and I think it's true for anyone. The more people you get together, the noisier it's going to be. I mean, if you go to a ball game, I'm a baseball fan, and you go to a ball game, and there's 1,000 fans in the stand. It's not as loud as if you go to a ball game and there's 40,000 people in the ballpark. It's a lot louder. So yeah, the smaller the group, the less the noise that you have. And yeah, I totally agree with that. And I like smaller groups myself. I when I get together with my friends, whether today or in the past, I rather get together with one or two people at a time. Uh, the largest that I'm comfortable with is when I'm on a couples activity. I mean, if we go out to dinner, my wife and I go out to dinner with a friend of ours and their spouse. Okay, four is about my limit. After that, it just gets overwhelming. And I notice the larger the groups are, let's say there's a group of 20 people there, right? People start to talk in like little circles. Not all 20 talking to all 20. They're going to talk to just the people that's close to them. So it's like a little group of two or three having a conversation, maybe four, but all the other noise that's so close to you becomes overwhelming. So yeah, three or four is really a good number. Let's see. So yeah, that's been my Thanksgiving. I used some of the techniques I talked about in the video. I did some self-talk. Uh, I did not have to do a lot today because, like I said, it was my wife and I. But some of the things I do to self-regulate are listening to calming music. So when we go places and I run errands during the week, I sometimes have to go out and pick up medicine for my wife or whatever. I have the big blue Bluetooth headphones on it because I'm proud of my autism. I don't mind telling the world I'm autistic, okay? And I have calming music playing in the background because, like, when I go into a store, and I don't know if anyone's watching with kids, I don't mean any disrespect to this, but the noise of a screaming, whining kid, it's like fingernails on a chalkboard. I know that's a dated reference, but it's painful to me. And at that time in my mind, I'm doing self talk because if I don't, I'm going to say it out loud. I'm saying, someone get some duct tape and duct tape a binky in that kid's mouth and shut him up. Not because I don't like the kid or anything. I'm not real wild about kids because kids are a little bit, they're so energetic and that drives me up with my autism. But it's the noise that they're making, the screaming and all that the kid is making. Now, I've been in the store very recently. Another person was walking by, two people were, and one of them was making some noises, probably was verbal stimming. And because one of the forms of that is people will make random noises. And that did not get to me because I understood what it was. And that's one thing I'm trying to do through what I'm doing as the confident autistic is I want to not only help people in the adult autism community embrace autism confidently, I want non-autistics, the autistics, to understand us better. So when they encounter somebody who is stimming and making noise in a restaurant, they're not going to look down upon them and make that person feel bad or the family feel or friends feel ashamed to be seen with them in public. And they realize this is just a part of who they are. It's acceptable in their culture because to me, autism is a culture. And it's a culture that everyone needs to understand. We need to all be tolerant of each other's different cultures. Like I said earlier, respect each other. And respect does not mean you have to like it, does not mean you even have to fully understand it. It means you have to just be respectful. They have a right to what they do and what they believe, just like you have the right to do and say what you like and believe in. So let me go back and check the chat to see if anything else is coming in before we kind of wrap this up tonight. Let's see. Okay, I had a support worker who stayed for 6 hours. Support workers, and I didn't know how to I'm gonna try this sideways. It's a little icon. Okay, there we go. I didn't know how to say, do you mind? You're interfering with my routine. How do you kick someone out? Oh, I would love to know how to kick someone out. Uh, yeah, because people stay and they sometimes people will always say they're welcome and all, and that is very challenging. I don't really have a solution to that because I struggle with that myself. It's hard for me when someone's comes over around me and they're staying for a long amount of time and disrupting my routine and all. But I try to do what I talked about in that video. I try to do self-regulating beforehand. Like if I know someone's going to come over and this person usually stays too long and messes up my routine and it's going to throw off my self-regulation, I spend maybe 30 minutes to an hour before that person arrives in what I call me time, listening to some relaxing music, maybe maybe playing with waggles and all, or anything else, or stepping with my favorite toy or something to kind of get myself some extra self-regulating power so I can survive the time that they're here. Now, one thing I do at times is, and I use my wife as an excuse. Okay, yeah, I probably shouldn't, but I do, uh, because she gets fatigued from cancer, and some of the medicine she takes makes her a little bit nauseous at times in the evenings. I will tell the person who's coming over, you can come over. Anyone who comes over knows my wife has cancer, and I say, but you have to leave by a certain time or after a certain number of hours because my wife needs to rest. And I'm also thinking about starting to say that about myself. You want to come on over, fine. But if we can kind of keep this to 2 to 3 hours because I have something else to do, maybe try setting that expectation level with them before they get there. So you're not in that awkward position to say, how do I tell that person to get out of my house or to get away from me? You know, tell them that you have something that you have to do and you won't be lying, because sometimes when we go through these situations that have sensory overload or whatever, when it's done, what do? We go somewhere quiet to self-regulate, and you should schedule that in after a activity that's going to drain you a lot. So when I have a friend over and he stays for a few hours, my wife knows this about me. I kind of become a little bit quiet for a while, and I kind of, you know, sometimes we'll listen to music, whatever, to self-regulate afterwards. I make that an appointment on my calendar. Like I have my friend over at 1 o'clock. He's going to come over. He's going to leave around 4. So I put on my calendar my routine, my schedule for the day. Because we like routines, we like schedules, we like predictability. That at 4 o'clock, I'm going to have 1 hour of self-regulating, self-care. That is something I scheduled. So if I tell that my friend he has to leave by 4 because I have something else I have to do at 4 o'clock, I'm not lying to him, because being honest with people is very important to me. So maybe if you try something like that, that kind of strategy, self-regulate before and schedule how long you're going to be in this activity, if at all possible, schedule that, and then schedule something right after it, another self-regulation time, so you can tell people, I have another appointment at this time, and I'm sorry, but I need to move on to some other things, and I'd like to connect with you later, whatever. But tell them the truth. Tell them you have something else to do. You don't explain what it is unless you want to, but that could be a way that you can kind of help control um your your sensory issues, and keep yourself regulated when people are around you. Now that might work for you. Give that a try. If you give that a try and it works, let me know. And if it doesn't work, let me know as well. Maybe we can come up with something better. Okay, let's see. When I hit a wall, I withdraw. I go into inside and become nonverbal. I'm tired. Just too much. Today I told the host 2 hours. I told the host 2 hours, but it became three. That can sometimes happen. Parties go longer than they should. Meetings go longer than they should. That can happen. Yeah. When I hit a wall, yeah, I kind of get. I don't know if I say nonverbal. I just talk less and kind of withdraw, and I start getting irritable, and it's more likely for me to blurt out something inappropriate. Excuse me, when I say inappropriate, I do not mean a four-letter word or something that, not child friendly, which I'm not always child friendly because we don't have children, but where I would say something that could hurt someone's feelings. And I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, not intentionally, but when I get to my wall, I can do that, and I'm aware of that. So I try really hard to manage that. Now, my wife has been with me for many years, excuse me, and she has noticed that I get a look on my face when I start getting overwhelmed and fatigued and all. And she helps me find a way out. She will sometimes politely tell the people I'm with, we got to go or whatever, and makes an excuse for our departure. So I do have that blessing in my life and all. But yeah, I can relate to that. That I just get really tired. I also get disorientated or confused. And when I get tired, I get confused. Like, where, maybe to the point, not often, but I get to the point, where am I? What am I doing here? And it's like I'm having maybe an outer body type experience. It's kind of strange for me. But yeah, I can relate to that and all. And if you sense those things are coming on, that's one of the things I talked about, I believe, in that video, to learn what our triggers are and our warning signs of when we're about to reach enough. And and when we start seeing them, we come up with strategies. So when this comes up, we know what strategies to use, what protocols to use. That's a term I learned when I volunteered in the hospital. Everything had a protocol at the hospital. We implement that strategy or protocol, and then we know how to handle it, and then we can minimize the chances of um, sensory overload, meltdown, shutdowns, in any other emotional dysregulation by learning what our triggers are and learning the warning signs that our body or our mind is telling us we got to go, we got to get out of this. Let's see. Since it was a small gathering with a time limit, I didn't feel as trapped and overwhelmed. That's great. That time limit really does help. I always hate going to events and not knowing how long they're going to be. And I hate events that go long. Okay. Now, I'm a baseball fan, and before they put this stupid pitch clock in and speed up rules, most ball games I knew were going to be about 3 hours. Some will go a little bit longer, some will go a bit less. My problem is if if I'm going to go to an event, whether it be a ball game or anything else, and it's supposed to be 2 hours, and it ends in an hour, I have an hour. I don't know what to do with myself, and that throws me. And if it goes over the 2 hour or whatever time lot, then I get thrown and I get really miscabulated. When I went to church in person, I don't anymore for many reasons. Probably because of some of my behavior. My wife was embarrassed by. I'll own that. My fault. And the sermon is supposed to end at noon because of the last morning service, which never go to those. Always go to the early ones, okay? Because they stay on time better. But I could be sitting in the front row and I start pointing at my wrist like I'm pointing to the minister and trying to get him to see this, that look at the time, got to wrap it up, do these little signals. Find a runway, land it. I would do those things because when you run long, it really throws me off. I don't know why. I don't know if that happens to you, but this drives me batty because now my routine, my schedule is being messed with and I don't like it. But yeah, and when I go places, I like to know how long am I going to be there? How long is this going to last? And yeah, I mean, I love to ask, but some people consider that rude that I'm asking about how long this is going to be. Because my parents told me that would be rude to ask them how long am I going to be there because like they may get the impression that you don't want to be around them. And in some cases, I didn't. But I'd like to know. And maybe the tactful way of doing it. How long this event's going to be because I have something later in the day and I want to make sure I will have time to do both. Or let's tell them I can only stay for 2 hours because at the a half an hour after that, 2.5 hours after the event, I have to be at another activity that I have scheduled, whatever it takes. And you can use those techniques to kind of manage the time and manage your situation. Let's see. Since it was small again, okay. Let me turn this sideways. I hate it when plans change or worse, plans are up in the air. Just causes meltdowns. Yeah, me too. I can totally relate to that. I hate plans that are up in the air or get changed. I hate that. And when I was younger, I'm doing better with this. But when I was younger, two things that drove me up a wall, and they still do to this day. But when you get older, you hear this a little bit less frequently, especially once you get married. Is we'll see. I mean, I'll ask someone, can we get together and have lunch? We'll see. Well, that's not a definitive answer. That's not a yes or a no. And I do this with my wife at times. I'll ask her something, right? And I'll tell her, I know she's watching. I'm going to hear about this later. I know I started this and now I'm in a. Maybe we'll go a little long tonight because I got to go out there and face her. I would tell her, and this should be my self-talk in a voice, but I'll tell her it's a yes or no question because there are people that you ask them questions. They don't say yes, they don't say no, they give you a long-winded answer. And all I wanted to know was yes or no. And they're like, oh, it's like, yes or no question. I can't deal with that. Give me a yes or no answer. I'm laughing because I know I'm going to hear about this when I go in the living room. So, anyone who would like to pray for me in my meeting with my wife tonight, feel free to. So I'm not going to hear the end of this tonight. Yes or no question. But I do that because when it's not a definitive answer, like in your case, it drives me batty. I need a yes or no, or I'll be there if I can. What does that mean? Does that mean you're going to be there? Does that mean you're not going to be there? Are you really going to try to meet me at that time? Or are you going to flake on me? I hate it when people flake on me. And I hate it when people are late. I do some podcasts and I have guests and all, and I love my guests and all, and 99% of them are on time or early, but the few that will come in 5 to 6 minutes late, and I'm like, I want to scream at them because they're late, but I can't because I got to protect my business brand and my reputation, so I can't scream at them. But yeah, it drives me batty. I can relate to this. I think it's very common in the autism community for many of us. We like firm plans. We don't like things changing. We don't like things up in the air. It throws us off. It drives us batty. And maybe the only thing I like having happening around me that I don't know what the outcome's going to be is watching a ball game on TV because I don't know who's going to win or who's going to lose. I can accept that. But anything in my personal life, oh man, it just drives me batty. So let me take one more look at the chat here before we wrap it up for tonight. Let's see. Let's see. I hate it when plans change. I read that one. Oh, it bothers me more when people are early. Okay, then you won't like me. I used to work in radio, and we had this rule on radio because you had to be on air a certain time. If you're not 15 minutes early to an event, then you're already late. And I live by that rule. I'm often early to places. And when we travel, I always leave it plenty of time because you never know what's going to happen between here, point A and point B. There could be a train and you can get stuck behind a train. You could be, there could be a car accident or detour, something like that, or stuck behind a funeral, which don't even get me started on those. And you have, it slows you down because I'd rather be early than late and make someone have to wait for me. So I'm a person that's usually early. Uh, but if I get early to someone's house, if 15 minutes early, I will wait in the car or wherever, right? Until it's like maybe 2 or 3 minutes before the time. If I'm supposed to be there at 7, I may get there at 6:45. I won't come into the house or up to the front door to about 6:57, 6:58. But I'm one of these people who, because of my radio training, believe that if you're not 15 minutes early to an appointment, you are already late because in radio you got to get there early to do your show prep, to get all your music lined up and find out what's going on, any technical issues, any machines that are not working that you have to work around while you're on the air or whatever the problem is. uh, that's why you would get there early. So yeah, I I, I'm I'm okay with people are early. Now if they're like an hour early, yeah, that's like, oh my gosh. Then I feel like I got to drop everything and take care of them. But a little bit early, I can handle. And I'd rather be early than late. And we always leave whenever we go somewhere with plenty of time to get there. Let's see, it bothers me because I'm scheduled in time to regulate, and I hate feeling rushed. Uh, yeah. I I'm glad you shared that with me. I don't really know how to respond to that. To me, I don't know. I don't feel rushed because I'm usually the person rushing everyone through everything that they're doing. I don't like to dilly dally. I like to this let's get her done. I'm the type of person, and there's some people who like to this take the time to do things. I'm the type of person I want to get up in the morning, get all my stuff done, then I could put myself in the living room, sit in my recliner, and enjoy the evening with nothing else to do but just veg out. But there's some people who like to do a little bit of work, take a little bit of rest, a little bit of work, a little bit of rest, and that's fine. That works for them. For me, I like to get it all done, and I don't like to dilly dally around. I wanted to let's keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. And I know I don't mention it too much here, but it is a part of me. I'm also been diagnosed with ADHD, and that may be a little bit more my ADHD side coming out. That I like to constantly move. I don't know why. Maybe it's a little stimming for moving, which I talked about in that video. Moving can be a way to help you self-regulate. But I'm always moving around, and I rush people through things. I rush my wife through things. She's learned to ignore me. The other day, I don't drive. The other day we were traveling, my mom was driving me, and I was getting a little irritated because the cars in front of us were going kind of slow. And I'm like, I want to get home. I want to get home. I want to get home. We just took the cat to the vet and he was doing okay. But, he wanted to get home. And the cat's sitting on my lap. He's 15 pounds. I just want to get home. I want to get this over with. So I kind of was grumbling about the car. So my mom, and I'm rushing to get home. My mom sped up through a school zone and we got pulled over by a police officer. So I'm usually the one that rushes people through things because I want to move on. I got things to do. I don't want to dawdle. My schedule is being interrupted. So I'm the pusher. But if I'm doing something, I don't really know if I get bothered from me if people rush me to do things. I know I get bothered when people interrupt my routine to ask me to do something else. Let's say I'm going to go in the kitchen, get myself a piece of punk pie or whatever, right? And then somebody said, "Oh, can you come in here and help me with something on my computer?" And it's like, I'm going to get food. Now they interrupted my routine. And that bothers me. But being rushed by people, I can understand why that could bother you. But my own personal experience, I'm the one that's doing the rushing and not the one being rushed. So, last call for the chat, and then we're going to wrap it up. I try to be on time, but sets my teeth on edge when people come early for an appointment. Interesting analogy. I take things literally. I think that's part of my autism. Sets your teeth on edge. Okay, I know it said last call for the chat, but I got to ask, what do you mean set your teeth on edge? Because I'm visualizing it, taking it literally, and I'm thinking your teeth are moving to the edge of your mouth, and I know that's not right. I'm not making. I know I'm laughing. I shouldn't be. It's just an interesting analogy or metaphor. And I would love to know what that means. So I'm going to hang here for a moment. And if you're willing to explain that to me, I would love to read that because that is cool. I've never heard that expression, sit my teeth on edge. That is cool. Love that. Maybe, you explain it to me. I get it. If I get it, no, I may start using that. That sounds like fun. Really confuse people. All right. So, yeah. So, yeah, I would love to know what you mean by that. And while I'm waiting to see what you're going to say, if you're going to provide any information from me, Peekaboo, let's just talk about what's coming up. This weekend is Black Friday weekend, and although we do not, well, I do have a store, but it's not really fully set up. But you can find it on my website, theconfidentautistic.com. We don't have any Black Friday sales going on this year. We will next year because that's going to be another way you can help support the work that I do and keep coaching costs affordable for everyone. But over the next few days, I'm going to be doing some more reviews of products and that I use to help with my self-regulation. I'm going to do a short little video about this needle ball with a link on how you can purchase that, which will be another affiliate link. I'm going to do some jewelry, chewable jewelry, which I use at times. I use that to distract myself from scratching on my legs. And when I scratch, I dig, and oh man, I got band-aids all up and down my leg. And we're worried about me scratching so much I get an infection. So I got me some jewelry to help with that. So I'm going to do a review of that. I also have a weighted blanket that I sleep under that helps me with sensory issues at night. I'm going to do a review of that as well. So those will be coming up. And you saw this week that on Tuesday we did a book review of Unmasking Autism. Starting this week, every Tuesday I'm going to be doing a review of a book or a movie, anything that would be kind of library related, because we call that video series the Confident Autistic Library. And those things will be about books and movies. I think I'm going to watch a movie this weekend, and have that up by Tuesday. So we've got a lot of fun things coming up. December's going to be a great month. Uh, we're not a nonprofit. I'm not going to ask you for money, but I do want to remind you that Tuesday is Giving Tuesday. If there's a cause that's important to you, please make a donation to any reliable, trustworthy, dependable nonprofit that has a good reputation that you want to support. They can use it, and you can get a tax write-off on it. Tomorrow's Black Friday. That's not as bad as it used to be. Oh man, because many of us online, most of us online now. I remember going to Black Friday and almost getting trampled a couple of times. So I don't go out on Black Friday anymore. I do all my shopping on Amazon because stores is so much sensory overload. I can't handle it. So if you want something from me for the holidays, or you're expecting a gift from me, know it's going to be coming from Amazon because that's where I shop all the time. Now, Saturday is Small Business Saturday. You're supposed to shop local on Saturday. And I always say I do shop local. I'm sitting in my recliner in my house when I use Amazon. But if you can and you're comfortable, go out and support an actual small local business. Uh, that's really the backbone of America, and many believe. And they could use it, and you'll be supporting your own community because more of that money will stay in your community than going to a corporation. And then Monday's obviously Cyber Monday, so be looking for great deals there. If I run across any great deals for the autism community, I will share them in the group Autistic Adults Embracing Autism on Facebook, and in a special newsletter, which you can sign up for. There's a link to that in the video description, where it says get your 31 affirmations for autistic adults. Click on that, you get that, and you'll be in the newsletter. So those are things that will be coming up in the next week. Also, next Thursday night, and I don't have the title in front of me, and maybe if my wife can text it to me, it'd be awesome. There's a video, a movie premiering on Hallmark Mystery, which is available on Dish, DirecTV, many local cable companies. You can access it by subscribing to Peacock, which I bet they're going to have a Black Friday sale. And it's a story. It starts at 7 p.m. Central next Thursday night. It's a story about an autistic woman. I believe she's 17, and I should have prepared for this, but it's going to be a great movie, and we're debating here if we're going to watch that while we do this chat and kind of do a watch party. So I don't know. I'll see if people show some interest by either commenting in this live chat or commenting on this video when it's archived. That would be super, and we'll do it. If not, maybe we won't, but it is coming up, and I will be sharing more information in my newsletter and in the group in the next day or two. So let me take one more peek at the chat, and then we're going to wrap it up. We went long tonight, but I think it was well worth it. My live chat just disappeared. Yes, it did. I don't know why. And I think it cut me off. I think it did. Okay. So anyway, Would love a demonstration and Amazon list of your favorite stems. Yes, I will put that together and I will share that. Let's see. Um, Sometimes I clench my jaws when I'm very anxious, angry, trying to remind myself not to lash out. And let's see. Yes, I would love to have a watch party. Awesome. I see that there. And also, yeah, why don't we, why don't we see what we can do? Um, and yeah, we may do a watch party. Okay, so I put that in chat. I'm not sure if we're still live or not because maybe YouTube cut me off because I told it was going to be an hour. So we'll see. And also, so let me see. I think we are still live. Yeah, we're still live. Okay, okay, great. I reconnected here and I'm still getting chat up here on the screen. Okay, so we are over time. I appreciate your time. I know I said it'd be an hour, and I would like to be more respectful of your time because that drives me up a wall. So yeah, yeah, why don't we're gonna do that. Why don't we next week, and we'll make a big announcement about this. We will meet next week at 6 o'clock for this event, for um the Confident Autistic Live. I knew it would come to me. Yes, I knew it would. And we will do that live next week. And then at 7, we will do a watch party uh, of the event. Now, we cannot stream the movie. There's legal reasons for that, but we can all watch it through our video providers, whatever, and we can make comments on it. And it's going to be fun. Well, we'll have the stream going. I'm not sure how we're going to do this. Maybe we could do a Zoom room. If you're interested in doing it in a Zoom room where we can kind of interact more, we could do that. Or we could just do it here. So post it in the comments which you would like, and we'll set that up and look for an announcement about that, how it's going to be all set up. Let's say by this time tomorrow night in our Facebook group. And I'll also post it here on the YouTube channel. So yeah, why don't we do, yeah, there's interest in that. Super awesome. I wasn't sure if there'd be interest, but yeah, let's do that next week. So until next time, this is the Confident Autistic reminding you that now is the time for you to embrace autism. I wish you a very happy Thanksgiving and a happy upcoming holiday season. If you traveled today or traveling during the holiday season, I hope that you have safe travels, you safely ride, and we'll have a safe trip back home. Thank you very much for spending an hour of your Thanksgiving with me. I really appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun. I think it's been very insightful. And we'll do this next Thursday night. And I know this is 7 p.m. on the screen, Central Time. It'll be next Thursday night at 6 p.m. for the Confident Autistic Live. Then at 7 o'clock, we'll start a different stream where we will do the watch party of this of the movie that's on the Hallmark Channel, which I don't have a title of, but we will find out. Let me see if I can find it real quickly. My wife has not texted to me, so I think she dropped off the call. Um, Mark Mystery Channel. Let's see. Okay. I did something wrong here. Hold on one second. Let's do this. Let's do this. How about if we do this? You should be able to see that now. Okay. All right. Hallmark. I hate typing. Mystery. Mystery Channel. That should get me there. Schedule. Let's see. Here it is next week, Thursday. Let's get there real quick. And then we'll come here.
When they find out that she's autistic, they either expect nothing of her or they think she's a savant. I felt that I needed to do more.
Oh, here it is.
You do everything for
I
me.
probably should not play this.
A dance in this.
Okay, we won't play that because It's called A Dance in the Snow. There it is. That's what it's called. Next Thursday night, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. There's no West Coast feed for the Hallmark Mystery Channel, so we all see it at the very same time. So why don't we do that? What's it called? I'm a Dance in the Snow. We'll watch that together next week. That would be fun. So we'll do that, and also, yeah, we do that at 7. So see you next Thursday night at 6 p.m. for the Confident Autistic Live, where we do what we're doing right now. And then at 7 o'clock, we will do the watch party together, as well as look for an announcement in our Facebook group, Autistic Adults Embracing Autism, as well as I will be posting in the community on my YouTube channel. How that's going to work, and I'll be posting that sometime tomorrow. Thanks again for tuning in. Let me take a quick look at the chat. Uh, yeah, thanks. Thank you all, and have a wonderful and blessed Thanksgiving. See you next week.